Alright, peace, 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 my friend. Welcome, welcome, welcome. This is going to be a reading. I do want to apologize, for the delay. It's retrograde season right now, so everything is just going crazy. But anyways, yeah, so this will be a reading to begin. So, in this reading, we're going to be covering your sun, your moon, and your ascendant, and we'll just ultimately discuss, what those three placements signify to you. So ultimately, the sun, the moon, and the ascendant, they deal with the character, the character, and like the personality, just the individual. Like the sun deals with the external expression. You feel me? This is that energy that you're comfortable bringing to the outward world. You feel me? This is energy that deals with like ultimately, you know how you can be going through stuff internally, but still project out into the world like you're okay. So that's your sun. But then your moon is like the shit that you're going through, you feel me? Because the moon deals with like your emotions, your reactions and responses to the things that the world present to you. You feel me? So that's what your moon is, how you react and respond. So, in other words, the sun is it's like your masculine attributes, but from the sun is masculine. Rather, I shouldn't say it's your masculine attributes, but the sun is masculine, and thus it's more electric and it deals with impressing your will onto reality. But then the moon is more magnetic and it deals with it's feminine and magnetic, and it deals more with how you react and respond to the circumstances and situations that are manifested in your reality, right? But then the ascendant is like the foundation, I guess we can say, in which your reactions and your actions take place. As the ascendant deals with like the personal life, you feel me? These are all things that ultimately have to deal personally with you. If that makes sense, you feel me? Like the ascendant, first and foremost, it deals with the body, and it also deals with like the current location which you are, but that's just because it's associated with the body, I guess. The personal life, like the best way for me to explain this energy is like, for example, the seventh house and the first house are polar opposites, right? One is the ascendant, the first house, and the other is the descendant, the seventh house. So the seventh house is the house of relationships. It's the house of partnerships. You feel what I'm saying? It's the house of the significant other. So whenever you're around someone who's significant and you're around someone who you're in a relationship with, type energy, that's the seventh house. But then it's like whenever you're by yourself and you're alone and you're just like in your zone, in your element, and you're just being yourself. Like maybe you're alone, or maybe you're just around people that you're really comfortable with, and you don't have to put on a facade. You feel what I'm saying? Like you don't have to feel like you should put on. Yeah, I'll leave it at that. Put on an act. You feel me? And you don't also feel like you should be in your feelings, right? But you're just being yourself. Like you're just chilling. Like that's the ascendant ultimately. All right. So let's begin with the ascendant. So you have your ascendant in Scorpio. Yeah. So with your ascendant being in Scorpio, this means that Mars becomes your chart ruler. This is interesting. You feel me? You were born on March 1985, right? I want to make sure that this is your chart, because I just did a reading for someone else and y'all have some real similar charts. You feel what I'm saying? All right, yeah, now you're born 1985. Only difference is that you're an Aries, she was a Capricorn. But yeah, okay. So so I was talking about the seventh house earlier, and I kept going with it because it was going to serve a purpose, because it was going to help you understand the contrast between the seventh and the first, well, which will ultimately help you understand the first house. But it was of relevance for me to bring up the first house because you have your moon, my bad, it was relevant to bring up the 7th house because you have your moon in the 7th house. So the moon, my bad, the 7th house, as I said earlier, is the house of relationships, of partners, of others, and things like that. And we talked a little bit about what the moon is. It deals with the reactions and responses. So with your moon being in the 7th house, a lot of your reacting and responding energy goes into relationships, into partnerships. You feel what I'm saying? But anyways, so with your ascendant being in Scorpio and then Mars being your ascendant ruler and then Mars being in Taurus in the 7th house, this makes it that relationships become of an importance to you in your personal life. You feel what I'm saying? First and foremost, Mars is a planet that deals with strife and hardship. You feel me? And so Mars being in your 7th house indicates that. I wonder which deacon it's in as well. Yeah, so with Mars being here, okay, yeah, now you're chilling, you're good. So yeah, with Mars being in Taurus in the 7th house, this produces an energy where it's like, hardship manifests in the department of life dealing with relationships. Like, love in relationships may be something that, like, because Mars is a planet of motivation and ambition, you feel me? But just will and how you direct your willpower ultimately. So with Mars being in the 7th house, it's an indication that a lot of your will goes into relationships, you feel me? And manifesting, not manifesting, but like working towards a relationship. Like, what I'm trying to say here is, whatever Mars brings to the life comes through hardship. Anything that Mars is touching is like, you're not gonna get this thing until you've struggled and worked hard for it. And that thing for you is like relationships. But it's like, with Mars being in the 7th house and Mars ruling your 1st house, it's an indication that like relationships become of a personal importance. You feel me? And okay, so hold on, let me think about this real quick. Okay, so Mars is ruling your 1st house and it's in the 7th house. So how would this play out? And it's in Taurus. So yeah, I feel like, hold on, I wonder where you have okay, interesting. So Mars is not only in the 7th house, but Mars is also conjunct your moon. So with Mars conjuncting your moon in the 7th house, looking at this chart right here, it's not in the plays, Deacon, but what's crazy about this placement right here? Take it if it resonates or not, but when the moon and Mars are conjunct in the sign Taurus, especially in the later degrees of Taurus, like, blindness can manifest, or like just bad eyesight could manifest. But yeah, no, you're good though. This isn't that. Okay, so yeah, that's what happens. You feel what I'm saying? With this Mars 7th house, 1st house rulership, it makes for an energy where relationships and love becomes of importance for you in your life. You feel me? In the sense that, like, in partnerships and in relationships, you can find more stability and security. You feel me? Rather than being in isolation and being by yourself and alone. Like, with this 1st house Scorpio energy, it's an indication. First and foremost, Scorpio is a sign that deals with like shadow work, and it's a negative sign. And yeah, it deals with hardship and like shadow work and trauma and needing to release. One thing about Scorpio that's well known is that Scorpio is the phoenix, right? The phoenix that rises from the ashes. Thus, to associate what's that sign? Scorpio with transformation. You feel what I'm saying? So Scorpio is a very transformative sign, right? And but it's like before you can transform, right? For instance, when the butterfly, well, when the caterpillar turns into a butterfly, in that process in between, it goes through a lot of pain when it's in the cocoon, because it's like for the butterfly to become the butterfly, that its genetic structure had to be altered, and there was a process of, in a sense, liquidifying the caterpillar. um, you feel what I'm saying? And then reconstructing the caterpillar into a butterfly, and that was very painful for the butterfly. You feel me? Because like when that new energy is being introduced to the butterfly, nah, I'm not gonna go into the details. You feel me? It's like, well, I think I should, because I already started. Like when the new information that's gonna create the butterfly is introduced to the caterpillar fights it and it goes against it, because the caterpillar is like, um, it's it's foreign. You know, it doesn't know what it is, so it's afraid of it. You feel me? And I feel like that's a very a well attribute for the sign Scorpio. But it's like, I don't think Scorpios are afraid of the unknown. Yeah, I don't think they're. It's not that a Scorpio is afraid of the unknown, but I think the problem with the Scorpio is that they sometimes, especially when it comes to themselves, like especially with this first house energy, like there are certain aspects of you that are mysterious. You feel me? That you need to look back into, and it's like, so Scorpio is fixed water. You feel what I'm saying? And fixed water deals with emotions like grudges. You know, anytime you're like an intense emotion. You know, like because in order for an emotion to be intense, you have to feed it. You know, you have to be fixated on it, if that makes sense. So Scorpio is a sign that's very much associated with past life energy as well. You feel me? And so with your ascendant being in Scorpio, you like naturally are a very like magnetic and mysterious person as well. Being magnetic, I feel, is because of the mysteriousness as well. But like ultimately, so Scorpio rules like the sex organs. You feel me? And because of this, you feel me? Like the sex organs are the most like sensitive. It's the most sensitive organ. You feel me? And sense has a lot to do with like the nervous system, and the nervous system has a lot to do with like electromagnetic energy. You feel what I'm saying? And so with Scorpio ruling the sex organs, like for example, Gemini rules the hands, right? The hands are known for a lot of things. You know, they're very versatile. You feel me? Yeah, for the most part, they're very versatile and they can do a lot of things, right? You also use your hands to communicate, right? All of that. So the things associated with the hands can also be found within the Gemini energy. You feel me? Within our natural tendency of communication, within our versatility in action. You feel me? So that's the hands. And so with like the sex organ, it's not that like, it's not just about sex. You feel me? Like the fact that like the sex organ is concealed, you know, that is Scorpio as well. Scorpio is typically a sign that's very much concealed and hidden. That's more because like Scorpio, it does deal with the hidden aspects of reality, and the darker aspects of reality as well. You feel me? But it also does just deal with things that are taboo in life. You feel me? Things like death, things like sex, things like crime, even. You feel what I'm saying? So those are all things associated with Scorpio, and I feel like that's one of the angles in which like I'm gonna abort that. I'm gonna abandon that thought, to be honest with you. But yeah, you know, so Scorpio is associated with like mysteriousness, But furthermore, magnetism. Scorpios are naturally magnetic, and so the way that this plays out is they find that if they need something, they attract it. You feel me? Being fixed emotions, right? When emotions are powerful as shit. You know why? Because emotions, they're the fuel for actions. You feel what I'm saying? But it's like oh, that shit is wild. So emotions are actually fuels for thought. You feel me? Because thought is like our greatest actioneer. Like if you can sit around and just cultivate the right thoughts, then you're set. You feel me? Like let's say you have a job, right? In like you don't want to do the job. You have thoughts in your head that are prompting you not wanting to do the job, right? So it's really as simple as finding a way to start thinking about the job in a manner where you're not thinking about how you don't want to do it, but you're thinking about how you do want to do it. You feel what I'm saying? And it's like, um, as you're thinking about how you don't want to do this job, right? And then there's negative emotions that are associated. It's like those negative emotions are fuel. You feel me? They're fueling the thought, and they're making the thought more and more and more powerful. So it's like the more you would dwell in like not wanting to do the job and procrastinating and like feeling like I don't know, you feel me, negative emotions, the bigger, but you know this shit already. You feel what I'm saying? And so with Scorpio is a element that's very emotionally dense, right? And so what happens here is that when a Scorpio doesn't know how to control their emotions, they're sucked in, you feel me, by emotion. And so the first house is not a house of emotion, but it's the personal life. The moon is the planet of emotion. And so with your moon being in Taurus, right, this makes you a person who's pretty stable internally. So even though like the circumstances, you feel what I'm saying, of your personal life may have emotional undertones, you feel me, emotional undertones. And so I mean it doesn't always have to be toxic, you feel me. It can even be like determination and passion, you feel what I'm saying. But ultimately, like, yeah, the first house energy right here um does produce for this. I have to hold on. I have to think about it because like typically first house and Scorpio individuals do find that their lives are chaotic, you feel me? But then it's like with your Mars being in Taurus and your moon being in Taurus, this does stabilize things because like Taurus is the opposite sign of Scorpio. You feel me? So it's like I can't really. So like I guess the best way to explain it is just like even if like your life does happen to be chaotic, you know, um, you're a type of individual who has an ability to keep their cool and keep their calm and do the necessary things needed to do so then their life can get back in order. But it's like with Mars being in the seventh house, like maybe you're a type of person who depends heavily on relationships and partnerships to be like secure and you feel me, to be secure and have a great foundation, if that makes sense. um yeah, as like that is very much like the Scorpio energy. Okay, well now let's talk about like your moon. So your moon is in Taurus in the first house. My bad, your moon is in Taurus in the seventh house actually. So with your moon being in Taurus in the seventh house, well this would most definitely make you a great like home builder. As like the moon does deal with the home, but it is very much also wifey energy, you feel me? And I feel like when the moon goes into Taurus, it is the most like, for lack of a better term, wifey material, you feel what I'm saying? Especially with it being in the seventh house. In the sense that these are people that are very simplistic, you feel me? They don't need like much out of life, you feel me? They're okay with like living a simple life, maybe being a partner with, and like living a traditional home life where like the husband is the husband and the wife is the wife, and there's like the kids and all this other stuff. I say that, but like I feel like that's too slow for Aries, though. You feel what I'm saying? Because so your sun is okay. So like your moon, with your moon being in Taurus, naturally you're like a very grounded person. You feel me? You're chill, and you don't have to be the life of the party. You feel me? You can just be. I feel like for some reason I'm picking up on like this elderly energy. You feel me? Like, cause Taurus can be like elderly, and like kind of grounded. You feel what I'm saying? But yeah, for the most part, like Taurus is also a pretty psychic sign. You feel what I'm saying? So with that being said, with Taurus being a psychic sign, and the moon, being a psychic planet, naturally you're gonna be very psychic. You feel me? And so Taurus is a earth sign, and it deals with the senses, and so physical senses have a counterpart, a spiritual sense, right? So because Taurus's physical senses are so powerful, by correspondence, their spiritual senses are also going to be powerful. And so, yeah. So it's like when you start to direct your attention towards the spiritual, which you do already because you have that Scorpio first house. Like with your first house in Scorpio, this also makes you a very like sensitive person. Sensitive in the sense that you have an ability to pick up on energy and pick up on information around you. You feel me? You can read a room, right? Type energy, but it's also like, because the water signs are psychic signs and they deal with the spiritual plane. So it's also like, the more you can learn to move in the subconscious mind, and when we're talking about subconscious, we're really talking about emotions. So it's like the more that you can learn how to move emotionally, that means move other people's emotions, but also conduct yourself accordingly emotionally, if that makes sense, the better your personal life will be, if that makes sense. Like with this energy right here, you're better off moving in silence and moving behind scenes than letting everyone know what it is that you're doing. You feel what I'm saying? But yeah, okay, so the sun is in the fifth house in Aries. You feel what I'm saying? So hold on, let me. Yeah, so it's in the fifth house in Aries. Okay, so Aries, the sun is exalted in Aries, and it rules the fifth house. So this is a really good placement. And so the sun, as I mentioned earlier, deals with how you express yourself outwardly. So with your sun being here, you have a great sense of self, awareness. You feel me? And self expression. Like the sun deals with like the power urges. You feel me? Yeah, it deals with like the power urges. And it deals with the self significance, how one signifies how one signifies oneself. Signify is not even a word. Significates, ooh, that's the word. How one significates oneself. You feel me? And like with your moon being in Aries, you are a sort of person who has a great sense of self significance and self value. You feel me? Aries is the ego, right? Aries rules over egotism. You feel what I'm saying? Being egotistical. And ego is like a bad word in the spiritual community for some reason, but ego is not really bad, because we need our egos. Like, it's what makes us uniquely us, if you feel what I'm saying. But yeah, so Aries is a very strong sign, as you probably have been told. Both Aries and Scorpio are ruled by Mars, and Mars is the planet that deals with strength. It deals with like determination and will. You feel me? It deals with aggression, and it deals with like in biology. It rules like our muscles. You feel me? So it's a planet of will. It's the planet of the warriors, the soldiers. You feel what I'm saying? So like Scorpio is more like um Scorpio is more like strength, but like mental strength. You feel me? Like strength through like manipulation and deception, for instance. But manipulation and deception more so for in the sense that like Scorpio deals with the internal realm, you feel me, influencing someone internally. Like seduction is a very Scorpio thing, you feel me, and like the psychological aspects of war is very much a Scorpio thing. But being ruled by Mars, you know, war has to be talked about. You feel what I'm saying? As Scorpio can be a troublesome sign, if that makes sense. It can be a troublesome sign. Um, yeah, it can be a troublesome sign. And if I'm not mistaken, you have your ascendant in the deacon of responsibility. You feel me? And so this can produce a lot of like responsibilities in a life that one may need to handle. If that makes sense. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So like Aries individuals are most prominent when it comes to their abilities to lead and to be like a way shower. You feel what I'm saying? Aries is the first sign, thus they are pioneers. You feel me? And they shouldn't be trend followers, but trend setters, if that makes sense. You feel what I'm saying? Like Aries in the fifth house, these are like people that like to party, people that like to have fun. You feel what I'm saying? Like, um, yeah, like so the fifth house is a house that deals with offsprings, right? It deals with children, but because it deals with children, it also deals with like the sex life. You feel what I'm saying? Like dating and things like that. Um, so it deals with like the sex life, but it also deals with like entertainment. And it deals with the offsprings because you know sex and offsprings have to be connected. Um, yeah. So with the fifth house here, I feel like this type energy is a very creative energy as well as like the fifth house is the house of creation, and I think that's why it's associated with children, offsprings, as well. You feel me? So with you having your fifth house here, I feel like being an artist would be whoa for real. Taurus is very musically inclined. You feel me? Aries is very passionate. You feel me? And has great self belief. You feel what I'm saying? The fifth house is a house of creativity. The seventh house is, of course, the house of relationships. But Scorpio also has like very musical talents and abilities. But it's because like a Scorpio can make someone feel shit. You feel me? They know how to make people feel things, and that's what music is really all about. Like Taurus is more like the harmonizing aspects of music, but then Scorpio is like the soul aspect of music. You feel what I'm saying? But this pretty much concludes your reading. Definitely let me know what you thought. You feel me? All right. I hope that you're having a easy retrograde. You feel me? All right. Peace.